Okay, everybody, good morning, good morning. We're just about ready to start. As always, just making sure that if you do have any props or if you are going to need anything like that, we might be using a block today, so you might want to have one of those handy if you have one of them. Otherwise, let's get started. We're going to start on our back. So you're welcome to take simply a Shavasana with your legs straight out and stretched in front of you. Otherwise, you can bring the pads of your feet together and let your knees go out wide. So from wherever you're at on your back, shoulders down the back, knees out wide, big toes together if you're in that bound angle pose. Otherwise, legs stretched out in front. Just begin to focus in on your breath. Full inhales all the way in, and even deeper exhales all the way out. So as you're here on your mat, just taking the time that you need. Take any last little wiggles, anything that you need so that you can really settle in and focus on the breath. As the breath begins to deepen, concentrate on the idea of the ribcage and the belly expanding all the way to their fullest, so you get that breath all the way into the base of your lungs. And then as you exhale, focus on the idea of every last drop of breath releasing from the lungs, so pressing out from the belly, from the rib cage, all the way out, all the way to the base of the lungs. Inhaling, pulling the breath in all the way. There's always a little bit more room, so you might even pause at the top, zip in just a little bit more breath. And then use the strength in the ribs and the belly to press every single last drop of breath out of the lungs. Beginning to create a detoxification process for yourself. Full inhale all the way in, pulling in fresh new oxygen into the base of the lungs. And then as you exhale, pressing out stale breath that might have collected there. Take a moment here as you are breathing to set an intention for your practice as well. It might just be a single word. It might be an affirmative statement for yourself. Or it might just be the idea of, I am breathing in and I am breathing out as the breath continues to move. All right. Take a nice big inhale in through your nose. And then open up your mouth and let it go. If your feet are out wide, you can pull them in. If your knees were out, pull your knees up and into your chest. So wherever you're at, knees are in, give yourself a nice big hug around your knees. And then take your hands to your knees, take a couple big circles, one direction and then the other. And then take some circles of your knees out away from each other as well. Warm up through the hip joint as well slightly. And then keep the knees together, shift your hips slightly over towards the right and let your knees fall over towards the left. Knees are stacked, eyes over towards your right fingertips. Nice full inhale, lengthen the breath. And then as you exhale, twist from the navel center, really pull in and down into the ribs to twist yourself a little deeper. Last breath here. And then slowly unravel yourself. Bring your hips back through center and then off slightly to the left side of the room as your knees go over towards the right. Take your eyes over towards your left fingertips. Take a nice big inhaling breath. And then really let it go. Open up the mouth if need be. Really just press out through the base of the lungs into the twist. Slowly come back around through center. Pull your knees up and into your chest. And give yourself a big squeeze. Lift your shoulders off the mat. Pull your forehead towards your knees. And then from here, reach your arms long up and overhead, point through your toes. So a nice long full body stretch. Fingertips to toe tips. The lower back should be lifted, so you should have a little bit of space right underneath the lower back. And then exhale. I want you to pull the navel down into the spine so that your lower back presses into the mat. You might have to have your arms out like cactus arms here. And then we're just going to move through that breath. So you're going to rotate the pelvis up so that you lift the lower back off the mat, lift the ribs. And then exhale, use the strength in the belly to round the tailbone up and pull the navel down. Really nice. Let's do one more like that. Inhale, lift the body. Exhale, navel to spine, lower back to the mat. Really nice. From here, grab opposite elbows overhead. Take your feet over towards the right side of your mat. Take your left ankle on top of your right. And then you're going to walk your elbows and your shoulders over towards the right side of the room as well. So if someone were to be standing over top of you, you'd look like a little half moon shape. Really use the arms. So use your right arm to pull the left arm a little bit deeper. You should start to get this really nice stretch along the left side of the body. And then just breathe here for a moment. Breathe all the way down into the left side of the body. And then as you exhale, perhaps you can walk your shoulders just another inch over towards the side of the room. One more round of breath. Slowly walk your shoulders back through center first. Unravel your feet, and then take your feet over towards the left side of the mat. Right ankle goes on top of your left. From here, walk your shoulders over towards the left side of the room, and really use your left arm to pull the right arm a little deeper. Breathe into the right side rib cage. Find a little bit of extra space. And then once you have a little bit more space, walk your shoulders a little further towards the side wall. Use the strength in the arms. Pull yourself a little deeper. Last breath. Slowly come back through center. Pull your knees up and into your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. From here, hands behind your legs. Give yourself 3 to 4 rocks along the length of your spine until you can come all the way up and into a neutral seated pose. All right, so from your seat, just find an easy seat from here. So hands on your knees, nice lengthened spine. Big inhaling breath. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. Inhale, reach, arms go up. Exhale, take your left hand down the mat, reach your right arm up and over. So this should already feel a little bit easier since we just did that stretch on the back. You're always welcome to drop the left elbow as well. But make sure that the right hip isn't coming off the mat. Nice big inhale, come on, other side. Right hand down, you might bend at the elbow, reach through your fingertips. Really press down through the left sit bone here. Come back up through center. Take your hand to your knee and twist towards the left. So right hand to your left knee, left hand back behind. Inhale, lengthen all the way through the spine. Exhale to twist a little deeper. Come back around through center, other side. Left hand to your right knee, right hand back behind. Last breath. Slowly come back around through center. Take your hands to your knees. We're going to take a seated cat-cow. So round the spine back, chin to chest. You're rounding back towards the lower back. Really press back through the shoulder blades. And then you're going to envision that there's an ocean wave that's about to roll right over top of you. Dive underneath that wave. Round the spine, one vertebra at a time, back up to seated. And we're going to do that a couple times. Hands to your knees to support yourself from rolling all the way back. Push the shoulders towards the back of the room. And then round underneath that wave. Lift up 1 inch at a time, back through standing. Let's do 2 more times. Round the spine. Exhale, dive underneath. Inhale, back up. And exhale. Press it back. And then dive underneath the wave. Inhale all the way up through to seated. And take a moment there. Let the hands be on the knees. Just close the eyes. Feel the length that you've created for your spine. And we'll go a little bit deeper from here. Walk your hands forward towards the front of the room. Press down through your palms as your seat tries to stay to the mat. You're pressing down and pulling the shoulder blades back towards you. From here, walk your hands over towards the left side of the room. Really try to drop your right shoulder down towards the mat. Pulling the right shoulder back towards the back of the room to get a deeper stretch. Last breath here. Slowly come back around through center and off towards the opposite side. So hands over towards the right. Really press down through the left hand. Drop the left shoulder slightly as you try to pull the left ribs towards the back of your space. One more breath here. Slowly come back up through to seated. Take your hands slightly back behind you so your fingers should be faced forward towards your seat. And just inhale, lift your hips. Squeeze your shoulder blades down your back, lift your heart. And then exhale, lower your seat down. Two ways to come to seated, or come to cat-cow, is to either swing your legs out from underneath you, or you can round yourself up and over top of your knees. So coming into a tabletop here just for a moment, take a nice lengthened breath once you're here. Take a cat-cow one single time, inhale, look up. Exhale, chin to chest, navel to spine. And then from here, tuck your toes under. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a moment here to pedal out through your heels, left and right. Give yourself a little bit of space. Really nice. And then release your heels down to the mat. Just take a moment to pause. Really let your shoulders drop down away from the ears and try to drop your sternum a little closer towards your thighs. Take a moment in stillness. Find your breath. And then from here, come high up onto your tippy toes. Walk your feet forward in between your hands. Once you're there, feet are at least hip width, if not more mat width distance apart. Grab opposite elbows and just let yourself hang heavy. Shoulders relax. Let any strain or tension release from your face. Give your head a couple shakes, yes and no. And then as you're ready, release your arms down to the mat, one vertebra at a time. Round yourself up to standing. So chin is going to lift last. Round up, roll your shoulders down your back, lift your chin, lift your eyes, and then inhale, reach your arms up and over. Exhale, hands to your heart. Nice big inhaling breath, look up. Exhale, half sun salutation, hinge at your waist. You might need a little bend in your knees. Inhale, halfway lengthen, hands to your shins. Exhale, forward fold. Heel toe your feet back towards each other to touch. Inhale, halfway lengthen one more time. Exhale, fold it in. Reverse swan dive up and overhead. And exhale, your hands to your heart. Let's take a full sun salutation. Inhale up. Exhale, move with the breath. You might still need that slight bend in your knees. That's okay. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step your feet back, find a plank pose. Press back through your heels. Really lengthen all the way up through the back of the shoulder blades. And then slowly bend your elbows along the sides of your belly. Come all the way down to your belly here. Big toes together, knees together, hands by your sides. Right underneath your shoulders. Pull your elbows towards the back of the room. Squeeze your seat, baby cobra. Lift up. Squeeze the belly. Press your hips down into the mat. Use your hands to try to pull the body forward to make sure you're lengthening the spine. Lift up a little bit taller. And exhale. Lower back down. From here, take your feet wide on the mat and press up. You might need a slight bend in your elbows if your back is pretty tight, or you can straighten through. Then you're just going to take a little hinge. Side to side, look over towards one foot and the other. And then tuck your toes under. Lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Take a moment there. Find stillness in your down dog. Take a breath. All right, look forward in between your hands. Leg step, hop or jump your feet forward in between. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, fold it in. Reverse swan dive up and overhead. Arms up, eyes up towards your thumbs. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway to lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back, plank pose. Shoulders, press them up towards the ceiling. And then come high on your toes, bend your elbows just halfway down. Inhale, roll over the toes, upward facing dog. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Take a breath there. All right. Look forward in between your hands. One more time, lightly step, hop or jump your feet forward in between. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. From here, sit your seat down, rise up. Utkatasana, fierce pose. So shoulders down your back, away from your ears. Squeeze the belly in. So lower pelvic floor is engaged, your ribs are engaged. Pull down and in. Nice big inhaling breath. Exhale, hinge halfway down. Keep the bend in your knees, reach your arms towards the back of the room. Inhale back to a chair, sweep the arms forward. Exhale, sweep it back. Inhale up. Last time here, hinge forward, stay there. If you'd like a little challenge, you're going to come up onto your toes. If you want to move from there, reach your hands forward towards the front of the room. Last breath. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, fold it in. Reverse swan dive, up and overhead. Eyes go up to your thumbs. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take a breath. Nice big inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold it in. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands. Step your left foot back. From here, you're welcome to keep the bend in and out of your knee with your back knee lifted. If that's a little bit too much, you can drop your back knee and straighten and bend your right leg from there. Again, just take what you need. If you need to drop the back knee, that's more than okay. Otherwise, you might just stay with your left knee lifted off the mat as you straighten and bend through your right leg. All right, come back into the bend of your forward knee. Plant your left hand inside your right foot. You might even need a block here if that's available for you. And then you're going to take a twist towards the side wall. So right arm lifts towards the sky. Pull the outer edge of your right hip towards the back of the room. Last breath here. Release your hands down. Drop your back knee to the mat if it isn't already. Half splits. Bump your toes towards your nose. So right toes towards your nose. You might even need to send your heel another inch forward to give you a little more space. If you need a block underneath your hands, that's okay too. Excuse me. Nice big inhaling breath. Exhale to pull yourself in a little deeper. All right. Come back into the bend of your forward knee. Stay there with your back knee lifted and reach your arms towards or if your back knee down, arms go towards the sky. Pull your belly in, lower ribs down and in, upper pelvic floor pulled in as well. From here, hands to your heart. We're going to take another twist. So left elbow to your right knee, twist towards the side wall. From here, you're welcome to keep your back knee lifted if you'd like to advance to kind of where we were before. Lift your back knee off the mat as you tuck your back toes. One more round of breath here. Release your hands down to the mat. Tuck your toes under if they aren't already and send your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Take a breath there. All right, from here, step your left foot forward in between your hands. Take the bend in and out of your forward knee a couple times with your right knee lifted, or of course you can drop the back knee and move from there. So take what you need, leave what you don't. All right, last time here. Come back into the bend of your forward knee. Again, you might need your hand on a block. That's okay. We're going to take a twist. So left arm reaches towards the sky, shoulders down your back. Pull the outer edge of your left hip towards the back of the room. Shoulders down, reach through the crown of your head. Last breath. Slowly come back through center. Drop your back knee to the mat. Half splits. Bump the front foot forward just another inch or two and really start to hinge over top of your legs. Inhale, lengthen the breath. Exhale to fold it in a little deeper. Last breath. Slowly come back through center. Keep the back knee down. Inhale, reach your arms towards the sky. Crescent B. Then bring your hands to your heart and twist towards the left. Right elbow to your left knee. Press firmly through your palms and really try to twist from the navel center to lengthen through the spine. If you'd like to advance, you can tuck your back toes and lift your back knee off the mat. Last breath here. Slowly release your hands down. Step your feet back, tucking the toes under, back to downward facing dog. Take a breath. All right. Nice big inhale. Lift your right leg high towards the sky. 3-leg down dog. Really press your left heel down towards the mat and deepen the stretch for your calf. And then step your right foot forward in between your hands and rise up to a crescent lunge. So press back through your back heel, back knees lifted and engaged. So engage the quad. Shoulders down your back, zip up through the belly. Nice big inhale, same thing like we did before. Reach your arms back behind, shoulders down the back, reach through your fingertips, and then inhale back. So I want you to envision while you're here that you have this little jar squeezed in your belly, and you're going to keep it there. So keep that squeeze of the belly and lower it down. Reach your fingertips towards the back, squeeze the jar. Inhale, squeeze the jar to come up, and squeeze the jar to go down. One more time, inhale up, exhale back. From here, open up to a warrior two, spin your back foot flat, and settle in from there. So really bend into your forward knee. Press your palms as if they were pressed down into little shelves. Really nice. Sit your seat down a little bit deeper and just breathe here. So I want you to envision from here that your feet are being pulled opposite directions towards the sides of the room. Press the shoulders down your back and really settle into the breath. One more round of breath here. You might begin to shake a little, that's okay. All right, reverse your triangle up and back. 2 straight legs. Reach your arm up and over. It's a side body crunch into the left side to get that nice length through the right side body. One more breath here. Come back through center, triangle pose. You might need to shorten your stance just a tad. Send your hips towards the back of the room and reach your fingertips as far forward as they can go. You can then drop your hand to your shin as you reach your hand up. Maybe even hand to a block. That's always a good assist as well. Shoulders down your back. Reach all the way through the crown of your head. So from here, you always have options of where to go. You might just take an extension forward towards the front of the room. You might take a wrap with your top hand and lengthen your bottom hand towards the front of the room. So take some sort of variation with your arms, whatever feels right. And just pause there for a moment. Really find that length through the side body. All right, from here, release your hands down and pivot towards the side wall. So you're pivoting towards the left. You might want to take your block with you. So if you have a block, you're going to use the block here if that's what you have. So if you have a block, I want you to press your pinky edges of your fingers more into the block so that your shoulders pull down your back. If you don't have a block, that's okay. I want you to envision that you do. So palms face up, palms up as your pinkies come in towards each other so that you are forced to pull your shoulders down away from your ears. Really nice. Nice big inhale breath. Lengthen all the way through your spine. And then you're going to take your block, or just your imaginary block, in between your hands and walk it over towards the back of the room. So pressing down through the block into the pinky edges of your fingers. Feel the right shoulder try to pull back towards the front of the mat. From here, come back through center and walk your hands the opposite direction. So press down through that block or the pinky edges of your fingers into that imaginary block if that's what you have. And really pull the left shoulder towards the back of the room. Last round of breath. Slowly pivot yourself all the way forward towards the front of the room and step your back foot up, at least a good foot or so that both legs can be straight and both heels should be planted. So if you're back here and your back heel is lifted off the mat, I really want you to shorten your stance so you can get both heels down. So again, you might need your block out in front of you. From here, just hinge forward, right over top of your legs, pyramid pose. So your options from here, hands might rest on your block. They might rest on either side of your feet. If you have a little extra, you might even start to walk your hands back towards the back of the room. Maybe even interlace your hands back behind your left calf to pull yourself in a little deeper. So just take a couple rounds of breath there. Nice big inhale, even deeper exhale. As you're here though, make sure that the right outer edge of your hip is pulled back towards the back of the room. I sometimes even like to use my right thumb into the hip crease to kind of push it back towards the back of my mat. Just take a moment there. We'll take one more breath. All right, from here, you're going to bend into your forward knee just slightly, and then you're going to use the strength in your right leg to lift your left knee up and into your chest. So left knee's coming in, you're going to stir up your hands around your knee. And then press with your knee as much as your hands are pulling back against your knee. So your arms are working and your legs should be working. Engage that little jar that we talked about earlier in your belly. Squeeze that in nice and tight, shoulders down your back. All right, from here, left hand to your left knee. If you know you have a big toe extension, you're welcome to take that. Otherwise, just hand to your knee. Right hand's going to come to your waistline. So right hand to the waistline, and then you're going to take your left knee out towards the side. From here, as a counterbalance, your right hand might go out. I always recommend having your index and thumb together so that you have a little concentration point as you begin to send your eyes over towards your fingertips. Squeeze the jar in your belly. Really squeeze the glutes. Engage the standing leg nice and strong. Got a little bit left to go here. Come back through center. Two options, either hands to your waistline or arms reached. Reach your toes, left toes forward towards the front of the room. Squeeze it in nice and tight. Squeeze the belly, lift your leg a little higher. All right, and then release that down. Give it a little shake out. Let it go. Really nice. Nice big inhale. Reach your arms up and overhead. And exhale. Fold it in. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands. Step your feet back. You're welcome to go straight to a down dog or a child's pose. But if you'd like a flow, you're welcome to take that chaturanga push-up to upward facing dog. And then back to downward facing dog. So just take a breath there. Let that go. Nice big inhales. Even deeper, longer exhales. Nice big inhale. Lift your left leg high to the sky. Really press down through the right heel to get that right calf a little deeper stretch. And then from here, send your leg forward in between your hands and rise up to a crescent pose. Shoulders down your back. Re-engage that little jar in your belly. Big inhaling breath. Exhale, fold it in. Reach towards the back of the room. Squeeze the jar. Inhale up. And squeeze it down. And let's do 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last time. Inhale. And exhale. Open up to a warrior 2 towards the right side of the room. So from here again, you're trying to push your mat in opposite directions. We're here for a couple rounds of breath. Shoulders down the back, away from your ears. Settle in. We got 2 more rounds of breath. Calm the mind with the breath. Last breath here. And then reverse your triangle. 2 straight legs. Right hand down the left, or right down the right leg, left arm up and over. To side body crunch to lengthen through the left side body. And then come back through center, triangle pose. So you might need to shorten your stance just a tad. Send your hips towards the back of the room and then reach. Hand can come to the shin, maybe to a block. That's always available for you. This top hand might come wrap back around behind. You might reach for the opposite thigh eventually. If not there, then maybe just back behind you. But I really want you to use the shoulder to twist yourself open if you're taking that wrap back behind you. Shoulders down your back, reach and lengthen through the spine. So from your tailbone all the way up through the crown of your head. 1 more round of breath here. So you're going to pivot towards the right side of the room. So from here, you're going to take your weight right over top of your knee. So you're going to hinge a little bit further forward. Take your hands back behind you. And instead of letting your shoulders drop around your ears, I want you to send your shoulders towards the ceiling. And then begin to reach your hands forward towards the front of the room. Nice big inhale, lengthening breath. Exhale to pull yourself in a little deeper. Take 1 more round of breath here. Release your hands. You're going to pivot back forward towards the front of the room. You might take your block with you if that's what you needed last time. Shorten your stance. So 2 straight legs, both heels planted. Both feet should be parallel and toes face forward towards the front of the room. Nice big inhaling breath. And then exhale. Allow yourself to fold in over top of your legs. So again, you have your options. Hands on either side of your feet or the block. Maybe you start to walk your hands back. You might take your hands and wrap them back around behind your calf. So just take a moment there with your breath. Nice full inhale. Even deeper, longer exhale. One more round of breath. All right, from here, take a bend into your left knee. Really power up through your left glute. You're going to use the strength in your belly to rise to stand and pull your right knee up and into your chest. So interlace your hands on your shin and push as much with your knee as your hands are pulling against the knee. So again, from here, that might be enough for you. If you have full extension and you want to take that toe grab, you're welcome to take that. Otherwise, hand to your knee. You can send the arm out for that counterbalance as you're ready. Squeeze that jar in your belly nice and tight. And then eventually your eyes might look over towards your opposite fingertips. Take a breath there. If you fall out of it, just come back. That's okay. And then slowly come back through center. Either hands to your waistline or arms reach. Reach your toes forward towards the front of the room. Squeeze it tight. Squeeze the jar in your belly to lift your leg a little higher. And then exhale, release that down. Give everything a shake out. Take a breath. And then take a nice big inhale. Reach your arms up. And exhale. Fold it in. Inhale. Halfway lengthen through the spine. Exhale. Plant your hands. Step your feet back. You're welcome to move through a flow if you'd like. Otherwise, we're going to take a child's pose. Big toes together. Knees out wide, let your forehead come down to the mat. So shoulders down the back. Release any strain from your jaw, from your forehead. Let yourself be in your breath. All right, so we're going to move a little bit deeper into a twist from here. So rise up into a tabletop pose for a moment. So hands underneath you. You're going to send your left leg out towards the right side of the room. So kind of like a gate pose stance if you're familiar with that side body stretch. So from here, your right arm is going to walk underneath you and you're going to drop your shoulder down towards the mat. So it's as if your right fingertips could grab for your left foot. Eventually one day it will. And once you're here, then you're going to walk your left fingertips forward towards the front of your mat. If you have a little extra, your left hand might walk back around behind and grab for your opposite thigh or hip. And then really just breathe into that space for your shoulder. You're trying to press the shoulder blades towards the right side of the room to deepen the stretch from the twist. Really nice. Take one more round of breath here. And then slowly release your hand down to the mat. You're going to come all the way up to standing on your knee. And then we're going to take a little side plank. So I'll show you this from the front. So your legs out to the side. You're going to drop your right hand down. You might need it up on top of a block. That's okay too. And you're going to reach towards the side of the room. But from here, it's almost like a side bend. So you're reaching, you're trying to get a nice long half moon shape in your body. One more time. Yeah, really nice. And if you don't need the block, that's okay too. Just reach through the fingertips, try to lift your hips towards the sky. All right. And then come back through to your tabletop. Take a cat-cow, inhale, look up. And exhale, fold it in. From here, we're going to move to the opposite side. So again, your leg's going to go out. So right leg's going to go out towards the side of the room. From here, you're going to walk your left fingertips as if they could go towards your toes, so when they wrap around them. Even if they don't get there, that's okay. And then from here, you can walk your hand forward or take your hand back behind. And then use that twist to really press your shoulders towards the wall that's now at your left. Really nice. And then just breathe here. Should get a nice stretch for the left shoulder blade all the way through the twist. Eyes towards the ceiling. One more breath here. All right, bring your hands back down underneath you and rise all the way to standing on your right or on your left knee. Left hand's gonna go down to the mat. Your right arm's gonna reach up and over. So it's a side body reach. You should be getting this really nice stretch from your hip through the rib cage into the shoulder. One more breath. Slowly release yourself back. Come into a tabletop pose. Take a cat-cow to release that. And then from here, we're going to take an extended puppy pose. Extend your hands out forward towards the front of the room and drop your forehead to the mat. Let your underarms come a little bit closer down towards the mat. You have a little more space. The front of your chin might come down to the mat to get your shoulders a little closer towards the ground. And then just breathe into that space for a moment or two. Last round of breath. If your elbows aren't to the mat, go ahead and drop them down to the mat and send your legs back behind you and drop your hips down to the mat. So Sphinx Pose from here. Big toes together, knees are together. So you should zip up through your thighs. Then from here, I want you to feel your elbows. So elbows are right underneath your shoulders, but you're trying to push the elbows out away from each other as if they were magnetically trying to reach towards the opposite sides of the room. And then they're magnetically pulled back towards your hips. So that really starts to engage through the shoulders. Squeeze your seat to protect your lower back. Squeeze the navel towards the spine. And really use the strength in the arms to try to pull yourself forward. One more breath here. And then exhale. Lower yourself down to the mat. Take your left ear down. Arms go back by your sides with your palms face up. Nice big breath here. All right, bring your chin back down to the mat. Legs are zipped up, so knees together, heels together. Arms go back behind you. Interlace your fingers at your lower back right at first, and then really squeeze your elbows towards each other. Once you have that squeeze, then extend your arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades, squeeze the elbows. Nice big inhale. Keep the feet down to the mat. That's your anchor, and lift your chest off the mat. Bound cobra. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Squeeze the legs, squeeze the toes down into the mat, lift up. And then exhale. Lower back down. Right ear to the mat. Eyes over towards the left. Take a breath there. All right, from here, you're going to rise back up into Sphinx arms just for a few different poses. So from here, take your right arm parallel with the front of your mat. You're going to bend your left knee. And you're going to reach back for your left foot. So in order to do that, you see my hip has to lift. But then once I get my foot, I want to try to bring my hip back down to the mat. And then I'm going to pull my heel in towards the seat. So you should be getting a really nice stretch for your left quad here. If you have a little more space, you might even be able to wrap your toes around your foot to pull your heel in a little bit deeper. Try to keep your knees in towards each other though to protect your left kneecap. And then just breathe into that space. This might be exactly where you stay. If you have a little extra though, you can send your right hand out and push up into the arm to give you a little more stretch. From here, come back through, release the foot back. Give yourself a little shimmy, roll out through the shoulders, and then we'll move to the opposite side. So left arm comes parallel with the front of your mat. You're going to reach back and grab for your ankle, but try to get that right hip back down towards the mat. And then pull your heel into your seat. If you have a little extra, your toes might wrap around the foot. And pull the heel in towards your seat. One more time. If you have a little extra, you might press up into the arm. Breathe there. And then release your foot down. Sphinx arms, give yourself a little shimmy out, roll out through the shoulders. All right, from here, you're gonna bring yourself, I like to say, you're gonna take to the right side of your mat. You're gonna take your left knee out into a little kind of 90 degree bend of your leg. And then your right arm is gonna walk underneath you. So it's left knee out, right arm out towards the left side of the room. And then from here, just let yourself settle in. Take your left hand right back behind your head. Spread your fingers nice and wide. So from here, take a nice big inhale. As you exhale, you're going to roll yourself open and reach your elbow towards the far side of the room. And then inhale, back through center. Exhale to open, squeeze the navel in tight, reach through the elbow. And then inhale back through. Exhale, press every single last drop of breath out of the lungs as you open, reach, and inhale back through. Let's take this open and then stay open. So just let your shoulders begin to relax. You might even eventually get your right shoulder all the way down and be able to reach your left elbow towards the far side of the room. So just stay open there for a moment. Breathe into that space with the twist. Take one more round of breath. And then slowly come back through center. Take your legs back behind. Take a Sphinx arms. Give yourself a little shimmy out to shrug up your shoulders. And we'll move that the opposite direction. So scoot over to the left side of the mat. Take your right knee out. I like to do that just so it gives a little bit of mat for my knee. All right. And then it's your left arm out. So left arms out, right knees out. Right hand back behind your head. Shin into your shoulder. Take a nice big inhale. And then as you exhale, open it up so you're reaching your elbow towards the sky. Press out every last drop of breath. And inhale back down. Exhale, open all the way, reach through the fingertips, lengthen all the way from the left arm, and then inhale back. Exhale, open all the way, reach the elbow as far as it can go, and inhale back. Let's take 2 more times. Inhale, and then as you exhale, open it up, reach as far as it can go. Inhale back. This time you're going to stay open, so reach all the way. Try to roll your right shoulder or left shoulder a little closer down towards the mat. Your left arm is pressed down into the mat to assist the twist. Breathe into that space. One more breath. Slowly come back through center. Hands underneath you. Take a Sphinx pose for a moment. Shimmy out through the body, whatever feels nice. And then you're going to walk yourself back till you're in an adjusted child's pose. Knees together, heels together. Hands back by your feet. Just let your forehead relax into the mat. Take a nice big breath along the backside of the body. Let your shoulders relax. All right, from here, slowly, hands come down to the mat, round yourself up, and just sit for a moment. Hands on your thighs, either face down or face up. Just take a moment with your breath. All right, so we're going to do saddle pose. So you're going to take your knees out wide as if you were getting ready to go into a child's pose. So knees out wide, big toes together back behind you. So you're sitting onto your heels. So you're going to walk yourself back. You might just come with your hands back behind you. Lift your heart. If you have a little extra, you might be able to get down to your elbows to lift your sternum towards the sky. Eventually, you might get the top of your shoulders down to the mat. And then your arms can go by your sides. If you're at this point, you're going to get a really deep stretch for your quads. So if that's a little too intense, you can always come back to one of those other variations, either on your hands or your elbows. So just breathe into that space wherever you're at. You could be there. You also might just be up onto your elbows. So pull your navel down and in towards your spine. That's going to give you that stretch if you're on your hands or your elbows. Pull your navel down to get that stretch for your quads. Let's take one more round of breath. Even if you're here, you're still getting the full benefits as long as your navel's pulled down and your sternum's trying to lift. All right, wherever you're at, come up onto your hands. Walk yourself back forward and remove your legs out from underneath you. Send them forward towards the front of the room. Give them a little shake. So give them a little shake side to side. Let that go on the knees for a little bit there. So let all of that relax. All right, from here we're going to take a wide leg forward fold. So I like to pivot sideways on my mat so that the heels have a little bit of cushion. But you could also do this straddling the mat as well if you prefer that. So legs go out as wide as you can go. So you might need to get your block because this can be a really nice little assist for you for it to have some place for your head to rest. So maybe on your hands, it might be able to go down to the floor as well. So wherever you're at, just let yourself hinge forward. Even if it's just your hands out in front of you. Let your shoulders relax. Let the neck relax so that the jaw can relax. So that eventually maybe your forehead can come down to your block. And then just breathe there. So from here, I want you to feel the inner thighs trying to pull back. You can even use your hands like I just did. You can use the hands to kind of rotate the fleshy part of the thighs underneath. So you get a little bit more rotation of the pelvis back towards the back of the room. Yeah, and then that might give you a little more space to come down a little further. So nice big inhale. See where you can fold yourself in. Give yourself just a slight little flex of your feet to protect your knees. Inhale, lengthen the breath. Exhale to pull yourself in a little bit deeper. So we're moving into the yin portion of this stretch, so I just want you to relax. No pulling yourself any deeper. Just let the muscular structure relax. And just let yourself be heavy. So let gravity do the work here. You're not muscularly struggling through this. Take 2 more rounds of breath. All right, from here, you're just going to walk your hands towards your left foot just for a moment. Try to press down through your palms, your right shoulders, trying to pull back towards the back of your space. So you're getting this stretch. Just like we've done multiple times throughout class, you should feel it in your arm and into the back of the shoulder blade. And then you're going to walk your hands towards the opposite side, so towards the right. Really pull back through the left arm. So you get this stretch through the side of the arm and into the shoulder blade. Slowly come back through center. You might need to use your hands to bring your knees back into the center line. Take your feet wide on the mat and just take a couple little windshield wipers side to side. Let that go. All right. From here, lay all the way down onto your back. Pull your knees up and into your chest and give yourself a nice big squeeze. You can grab for opposite elbows or forearms, whatever feels nice. Take a couple rocks side to side, maybe even a happy baby if that feels good. Hands to your legs. All right, from here, you have your options for a backward bend. So you can place your feet down into the mat if you have a block and you like a yin variation of the bridge pose. Block comes underneath you and you might send your feet forward towards the front of the room and just relax from there. Otherwise, I'm going to give you 2 rounds of an active bridge or a full wheel, if that's what you prefer. So, for your bridge, place down through your feet, press down into the earth. Hands by your sides, big inhale, lift your hips off the mat. Work your shoulder blades underneath you, and take your hands, clasp them underneath you if you can grab for that, and then press down through the pinky sides of your hands to lift your hips a little higher. Take one more round of breath, press your hips towards the sky. And then exhale, lower back down. If you're on the block, you're going to stay there. If you're not, take some windshield wipers of your feet side or knees side to side. So again, you have that bridge variation if you want to take your hips up and clasp your palms underneath. If you'd like a full wheel, you can take your hands back by your ears, fingers in towards your shoulders, and lift from there. So that's always an option. Take what you need. You have a couple rounds of breath here. Shoulders down the back. If you're in this activated bridge with the hands interlaced, press down through the pinkies. One more breath. You might rise up onto your toes for the last breath to lift your hips a little higher. And then exhale. Lower yourself down. If you had a block underneath your seat, you can remove it. Bend the knees. Take a couple windshield wipers side to side. Let that go. All right. Pull your knees up and into your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. And then options for your final inversion. Your legs are going to go up towards the sky. Your hands can come underneath your seat like a little shove, or your block can come underneath you as well to get your hips above your heart. That might be where you like to stay. If you want a little extra, you might work your hands into your lower back and send your legs towards the sky for shoulder stand. So wherever you choose to be, just be there. You can take some little wiggles out of your ankles and then find stillness wherever you are upside down. If you're in a shoulder stand and you'd like a plow pose, you can let your toes go back towards the back of the room. You might even take an ear pressure pose, knees on either side of your ears. So from wherever you're at, slowly begin to bring yourself back down to your mat. We'll take one last pose here. We'll take a fish pose. So legs out towards the front of the room. Point through your toes. Come up onto your elbows. Hands right by your seat. Lift your heart. Lift your chin. So you may or may not be able to get the crown of your head down to the mat. But if you can, make sure you're still lifting from your sternum. Point through your toes. Nice and long. Big inhale. And then open up the mouth. Let it go. One more time. Nice big inhale. Open up the mouth, let it go. Tuck your chin back into your chest. Lower your shoulders down to the mat. Take a little shimmy out with the body. And then from here, you always have your options for your final Shavasana. I personally love a blanket underneath my knees, a little jelly roll of the blanket. So you're welcome to take that. Otherwise, just find some other spot that's going to be comfortable for you to stay for a couple of minutes. So take your shoulders down your back, take any wiggles, any last little bit of anything that you need so that you can find stillness. So the meditation, the mindfulness, once you're here, isn't necessarily trying to find a lack of thoughts. Because we as human beings aren't ever really going to be able to achieve zero thoughts in our mind. That's just a place where we have too much stuff going on, too many things that we have to focus on. So I'd encourage you to, without judgment or criticism, just take notice when those thoughts come up, because they will. And just time and time again, set them aside without judgment, without criticism, without fault. Just let them go time and time again. Take a nice big inhale in through your nose. And then open up your mouth, let it go. Final Shavasana. Slowly, mindfully bring awareness back to your breath. Full inhale, even longer exhale. Give your head a gentle rock side to side. Roll out through your wrists and your ankles. And then reach your arms long overhead, point through your toes. Reach all the way from your fingertips to your toe tips. Big inhaling breath, open up the mouth. Let it go as you pull your knees up and into your chest. Give yourself a big squeeze. From here, rock over onto one side or the other. Let your head cradle by your arm. Just take a fetal pose. Relax the arms, relax the legs. Just be still for a moment. And let any sensation, any thoughts come back gently into the body. And then as you're ready, use the strength in your arms. Push yourself up into a seated position. You can take your hands on top of your knees for a moment. Just be still. Find a comfortable seat. Close your eyes. Bow your chin slightly into your chest. Your hands can be face up or face down. You might take the index and the thumb together. Bring that circle of energy back into itself. Just take a breath. Be present in the sensations that come up. Be mindful of where we started practice and where you are now, the changes that have occurred. As you're ready, bring your hands to your heart. We're going to give ourselves one last little bit of energy before we go. Rub your palms together nice and strong. But rub as hard as you can until they're nice and warm. Once they're heated up, place your hands right over top of your eyes. Let the warmth soak into your face. Relax your jaw. Relax the tongue. And then slowly let your fingers massage the face all the way back down until your hands can come back to your heart prayer position. Take notice of that sensation in the face, the relaxation, the warmth, the energy that you created for yourself. Take a nice big inhaling breath, and we'll open up the mouth, let it go. So as you leave the mat, as you get up, as you continue around the rest of your day, the rest of your week, it's always my wish, it's always my hope that the experience, the breath, the mindfulness that you find here, that might walk with you. That no one, not even yourself, can take that from you. As always, it's a privilege, it's an honor to guide your practice. Thank you for being here this morning. Namaste.